Hi, today we are going to discuss the short story Luck by Mark Twain, published by Harper's Magazine in 1891. So on the surface, this is just an easy reading, short story about a blundering idiot who rises to the status of a great military general out of no fault of his own. Basically, pure luck. In fact, the title of the story itself is simply Luck. But this is ironic, since the story is really not about luck at all. Underneath all the words written on the pages, I believe there's a strong underlying story of jealousy, anger, resentment, and envy. So let's take a closer look. Here's our hero, Lieutenant General Lord Arthur Scoresby, great military commander and hero of the Crimean War. At the beginning of our story, he is being celebrated at a banquet. All eyes are upon him, the military genius of our generation. He's being admired and applauded by his audience. So how does our storyteller describe Lord Scoresby? Quietness, reserve, simple honesty, sweet unconsciousness of his greatness, even unconsciousness of his admirers. Deep, loving, sincere worship is welling out of the crowd towards him. Now, these are not typical characteristics you would give a general. Instead, you would probably use words like stern, commanding, concrete, brave, or reverence. Instead, the kinder words, they're the ones you would use to describe a church-going man, or a man of cloth, like a reverend or a minister. And lo and behold, at the banquet, our storyteller is sitting next to his friend, who happens to be a reverend. And what is the first thing the reverend does? He passes judgment on the great general, whispering to our storyteller, privately, he's an absolute fool. Now, who says such a thing, especially a reverend? For a clergyman to pass judgment is not just absurd, it's downright shameful, hypocritical, and perhaps even sinful. Our Bible tells us, John 7:24, stop judging by mere appearances, but instead judge correctly. In Matthew 7:1, Jesus instructs us, judge not, or you too will be judged. So right away, although our storyteller may be naive and convinced the reverend is a good judge of character, we should be wary of this. In fact, it is our duty to judge him as he judged Lord Scoresby. So let's examine our reverend. In his earlier years, he was a military instructor, but probably would not amount to much in the military, as indicated later that he actually had to spend his own money to buy enlistment. We also learn of his conceit. At first sight, he judges Scoresby as being stupid and ignorant. And under the guise of feeling sorry for Scoresby, our future reverend took the opportunity and the challenge to transform this fool into a military man after all. Our future reverend is also not very humble. He doesn't hesitate to let our storyteller know how he helped Scoresby through his deep compassion and charity and the goodness of his own heart. Look, what a great guy I am. It's all about me. Me, 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 me. He also spends a lot of time bragging about how great he is, and that he alone tutored Scoresby to get him through the exams. He even got him first prize, that of course our future reverend received no credit for. Then, when Scoresby further succeeds, we see the magnitude of our future reverend's ego. He's not only jealous of Scoresby's assignment and new rank, his ego is so big that only he alone can save the country from defeat. He has to tell our storyteller that even though he so loved repose and inaction, even he must put aside his morals and go along with Scoresby to Crimea. I am responsible for the country for this, and I must go along with him and protect the country against him as far as I can. Then our future reverend's jealousy is really revealed, even to the point of anger and discontent, blaming every one of Scoresby's successes as a blunder, envying Scoresby with discontent when he is decorated by Marshal Canrobert in Crimea. He seems to be telling us, I made this man, how come I don't get credit? Then, as the lowest blow, he calls Scoresby the supremest ass in the universe. And that's the final step when you lose an argument. The final denial in a losing dispute is to simply blame the victor as being an ass. And to justify Scoresby's rise in phenomenal success and acclaim, and our simple, humble reverend status, he blames it all on luck. It was luck that made Scoresby famous, and it was the lack of luck that made him just a simple reverend, when he deserves all the credit of Scoresby's success. And finally, if the reverend's ego and jealousy is not already blown up, and it's not just good enough to let things be, he has to go on and share this secret with our storyteller to further justify that our reverend is really the man who should have been celebrated at the banquet, at least in his own mind. Well, that's my analysis of Luck by Mark Twain. Please leave your comments below. Thank you. Bye.